Welcome everyone. Today we have a special farming guide for Path of Exile 2. Now looking behind me, you might see something familiar and also something interesting. So the first part of the guide, I want to showcase to you guys this method works and what are the loots you can be getting. So notice here you're getting a lot of waystones, you get a lot of weathering fragments. And similarly, you can see we have done multiple testings and you don't even need much of the magic find, and you can be getting around 2 to 3 of the fragments at least using this method. Now, of course, there's no point of showing you guys the loot without giving you guys a step-by-step breakdown. We'll be looking into the price of those fragments and also how can you get more fragments through cathedrals. And of course, you might be asking, how do you find cathedrals? Because even though you know you can get fragments, how do you find cathedrals? I have been searching around in different communities, and some of the Chinese forums and also Chinese players have found a lot of cathedrals. They are finding on average 1 to 2 cathedrals an hour if they're lucky, or at least 1 cathedral every hour. And they have listed and also shared all the screenshots of finding the cathedrals and also the method of finding those. That's right. In this video, we're looking into the method of speed farming, speed searching for the cathedrals, and what are the things you can be doing, what are the things you can be avoiding, and what are the tricks that players have discovered using the environment and also using the zones. And of course, I'll go through even additional tips for you guys to spot the most expensive copper cathedral. Because if you find this one, you're making yourself at least 7 or 6 divines because of the drops. So there's a lot of information, and I have searched a lot everywhere about the related information with cathedrals and also how to farm them. And make sure you guys use the timestamps below, because I want to go through with you guys step by step to teach you how to farm the cathedrals and also making a lot of divines. So coming over to notes over here. I'm sure you guys have heard that you can make a lot of currency by finding and also farming cathedrals. So here are some of the screenshots of my friend Jomcast finding the cathedrals and also guarantee at least 2 to 3 fragments. He has guaranteed 3 fragments after learning and also perfecting this method. So usually you're looking at 1 to 3 fragments. And how much do those fragments sell? I did a price check before making this video. The faded fragments from the copper cathedral seems to be selling the highest with over 250 Exalt. And then there's the ancient crisis and also weather crisis fragments, about 82 and also 76 Exalt each. So if you can guarantee yourself with 2 to 3 drop of the fragments, which won't be too hard once we teach you the method, we're looking at a minimum of 150 to 750 Exalt income. And this is definitely doable because after searching around, the Chinese players seems to be having a pretty safe and also guaranteed method in finding those cathedrals. They don't share all the screenshots for nothing, and the community are loving the method of farming for those. So how does this work? And I guess the estimated income will come first. And usually I try to do a range of numbers. And here the average income for farming those, if you find 1 cathedral every hour, you're looking at an income from 2 to 5 divine. And of course, it is RNG, guys. Sometimes people will find 1 to 2 cathedrals because once you find 1, usually there's 1 around it. And sometimes people don't find 1 in 1 to 2 hours. So there's a bit of RNG factors, but a lot of my friends are making 2 to 5 divines at least using those methods. So I want to share with you guys. Now, one of the first questions you have to understand is what to do after you find the cathedrals. On the next part, we'll look at how to find cathedrals very quickly and what are the hints towards finding those. So how do you get more fragments when finding cathedrals? So I have searched around and I did come across this video from Exalt Angela over here, and my friend John has been testing a lot of the different modifiers for the keystones. So I did read up on the max roll suggestion as well. If you guys want the links, all of those links will be available. So to summarize everything we researched, so it seems that around 700 or 800% waystone increased drop rate just to be safe will start to give you at least 3 fragments. I don't think you can get more than 3 fragments at the moment, but 3 fragments means a lot of currency. Even if you get the cheapest ones, 3 fragments means if you find 1 cathedral, that's 2 divine at least just from the fragments, as you guys can see over here. So here are some screenshots. We tested around 816, 885 of the find rate. You can see the keystone find rate. And the biggest thing you can see is we're getting 3 fragments consistently. And this is the biggest takeaway. You're here to stack keystone drop rate once you find the cathedrals. And you can be stacking those through the tablets, through the map modifiers. And you really want a good map modifier that increase the keystone drop rate. and this will enhance your job and also your farm. So anytime you come across the Citadels, you're looking at least 2 to 3 fragments, and once over 800%, you're looking at 3 fragments pretty much all the time. So what are the highlights and what are the recommendations in the effects of the tablets you can be looking for? So for the tablets that is affecting the zone of the Citadel, you're looking for quantity increase, you're looking for rarity increase, and sometimes you can look for more rare monsters just to help you with some better rates. Now at this moment, we're not 100% sure if Magic Find is even affecting the fragment drops. Now a lot of my friends has recommended to look for around 100 to 200 Magic Find rarity increase on your gears, and this seems to be great for mapping. But after some testing and also after looking around, people are saying that Magic Find might not be contributing towards a fragment drop rate. So what you're looking for is 800% keystone drop rate for pretty much guaranteed 3 frags. And if you do have the Magic Find, it will still help in terms of other loots, but here we're not 100% sure if Magic Find even increased the fragment drop rate because we're not getting over 3 fragments. If you guys know about this part, let us know. And the good thing about knowing this idea is that you don't have to have a Magic Find build to get your 3 fragments. You use our quick search method, which I'll share with you guys on the next part. You just stack keystone drop rate and that's it. The Magic Find is not as significant compared to the other method, which is a great way. Because Magic Find items are really expensive and players sometimes don't want to stack too much Magic Find or don't have the gears for all the Magic Find. So this is definitely a bonus for this method. Now coming over to the more important part. Yes, you guys might be saying, hey Matt, show us how to search for cathedrals. So here I'm translating the notes from this Chinese forum post, and I'll have the links for the forum post if you guys want to have a look. This is translated through Translated English, and of course, if you come over to this post, just to show you guys, you have to click the button over here, so this redirects you over here. This is a very popular Chinese gaming forum, and people do share some of the best method in the Chinese community. So firstly, you need to understand, while searching for the cathedrals, you should still play normally for mapping. And because cathedrals can be RNG, sometimes the Chinese players find 1 to 2 or even 3 within 1 hour. Sometimes they don't find any. So don't just put your hopes on finding cathedrals. You should still be doing your usual breaches, tribute, boss mapping, anything you do in your mapping, you still do that, but add this method on top of that. Now, one of the most classic thing is you want to avoid traveling to a dead end. So notice here, this tower is unlocked, but around this tower, once it's unlocked, you can see there's nothing there. It's literally a dead end, so avoid doing this at the start. Now after that, you want to path towards a straight line towards the next tower. And this is pretty trivial again, because as you pass a straight line, this means you're taking less maps to travel to the next tower to unlock the further zones. Now here I did have a look around. Some of the players are recommending to use tier 14 and also tier 15 in the towers to help them to have a better chance of finding the randomized cathedrals. Again, this is a speculation, but players are trying everything they can to find cathedrals. So here I decided to add this one as well. The bigger focus is path a straight line to the shortest path to the next tower. Now during this time, there are some additional optional methods. So what players have been doing is, for tier 14 and also tier 15 juiced up maps, which with a lot of good modifiers, as you can see on the screenshot over here, for those maps, you can still use tier 14 and also tier 15, because, you want to have some good farms while you play your mapping. But players have started to do this method. They use tier 1 to tier 10 maps on the empty nodes as they travel through. And this will enable them to have a much quicker clear, 2 to 3 minutes clear, because the map's easy. They use the method of Alch and Go or Rego and Go. Basically, they turn the maps into a rare map and just slam the Alchemist Orbs on a normal one, or slam the Rego Orb after you have slammed the basic, Algor Augmentation, Algor Transmutation. This is the cheapest method for minimum investment, which allows you to path through the maps and also search for the towers and then search for the cathedrals quickly. And once you adopt this method, you're actually saving so much time on those less juiced up, useless little nodes for those as you travel across the map. Now, of course, just using those methods can be the basic starting point. But the Chinese forum, and they're very nice to share all the secrets, they have revealed additional ways for indicators and also hints to path towards the cathedrals. So while you path toward the towers, what you're going to notice is you're going to notice some of the zones of the cathedrals will be surrounded by certain environment. Now, some of the things you really want to look for are going to be farm icons around the zone and also pyramids for the stone cathedral. And you can see on the screenshot. So the Chinese players have screenshotted all of the ways they found it, and they actually start to filter the maps and also the zones according to what they see, and they get really good at this. This will save you a lot of time, sometimes 20 to 30 minutes. Once you start to recognize the moment you see one of those icons with the farms and so pyramid, you know you found the cathedral. And here, if you're looking for iron cathedrals, you're looking for a farmland looking plus wooden houses. So you can see the icons again over here. I'll have other notes available for you guys for you to look closely. So the moment you see one of those houses around, you quickly path towards the middle of this and you'll find yourself under the cathedral. And finally, the most income heavy one, or the biggest one, should be the copper cathedral. And this one is usually combined with deserts and also little tents around the desert. Now, this in combination should give you a better clue and also better pathing as you go across the map. And the Chinese players went even further. They noticed that the farmland only coexists with the stone and also iron cathedrals. So once you find the spotted farmland on those particular categories, notice over here the farmlands are kind of breaking up the red-green of the environment. Those kind of farmland environment will guarantee that you can find one of the two cathedrals. And this is not only all. They also noticed that the desert that is around the copper cathedral does not have the corruption you see over here. So what that means is usually copper cathedrals give the most expensive fragment, and they purposely go into desert or they purposely look around the desert for the copper cathedral. And because those fragments were ×3 will sell for like 7 divine, they have tips for finding copper cathedral. So in the sand surrounding the copper cathedral, there is usually no corruption. But there may be cases you might see some corruption in the sand, but notice that in the copper cathedral, the sand around the copper cathedral, together with the tents around it, does not have any corruption. But sometimes this can be a little misleading. You come across here, you see that, you avoid the sand, but if you're coming across here, you see the sand, notice that this is the sand combined with little huts that shows you where the copper cathedral is. And using those combinations, the Chinese players or the community has started to pinpoint the best ways to find those cathedrals, fastest way to find them, and then they start farming them, and then they can be selling the fragments for a lot of divines. So to summarize the entire method, what you want to do is you want to have a build that is relatively speed in farming the bosses and also uncovering the maps. If you want a speed farming build, I do have a previous build with over 100% movement speed with a Pathfinder that can speed farm any of the maps in 2 to 3 minutes max. And I do recommend checking that out, and I'll be posting more related speed farming build for you guys so you have a variety to choose from. It is a little unfortunate our summoner is not the fastest in finding and also pathing through maps simply because of the unit AI and also monsters AI, which is not great in Path of Exile 2. So I'll be sharing with you guys more speed farming builds like the Pathfinder and also Deadeye and also Sources builds to come, so you can be speed farming the maps in 1 to 2 minutes. And this way, of course, once you know the rest of the secret method in stacking keystone percentage and also how to get your modifiers for tablets and also how to search for the cathedrals, you can combine all of those methods together. And my friends has been farming over 5 divines using those methods. And I think it's important that I search everything and then I combine everything with all the methods to share with you guys. So before we finish, a big thank you and also shout out to everyone who has been supporting me financially through donations and also through Patreon. It's with your help, guys, that I can take the time to search around the places, to take the notes, and also to summarize for you guys in a collective summary. And this week, we can help everybody in finding more fragments, selling those, or fighting the boss itself. Now, at the same time, if you find those fragments and if you want to farm this boss, I really do recommend coming over to this guide, because as you find more of those boss, unlocking more of your passive talents for this atlas, you can be getting free keystones and also a lot more items that can sell over 100 divine if you get the right +3 Jew. So I have the link to this video for you guys as well. So not only can you find the cathedrals, find the fragments, you can also be farming the boss yourself. So this can be combined with the previous guide to give you guys even more information and also more ways of getting better loots in the game. Now before we finish, if you guys haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to do so, because I'll be looking into the latest Path of Exile 2 news on different communities and also on the official forum, official webpage. I'll also be looking into the best build for each of the class as the meta develops with the Chinese and also the English community. So stay tuned for the latest update and also guides for Path of Exile 2. And of course, this is gonna be a big month for us. And I'll try to bring you guys all of the latest content and also guides for Path of Exile 2 to come.